Yo, a while ago I covered an advanced technique called Dragon Rush Crush. It's an amazing video still to this day, check it out if you haven't yet. I showed examples of who does it well, but I thought it would be fun to showcase the best ones and order them. So this will be the first tier list type video on the channel. That way you can get an idea of what makes it strong, and might even learn a new way to use your own characters. As a quick recap, this trick only works against high level players that can consistently tech DRs. So you use their great reactions to your advantage to DR Crush. This is when you use a similar red flash of an EX move to mimic a Dragon Rush after 5L. But this move actually punishes them for reacting to the flash, so they get hit for being good. This doesn't work against bad players because they wouldn't even try to tech a regular Dragon Rush anyway, so they'd probably just block and mash, you know? So who does this best? In my opinion, UI Goku has the best DR Crush in the game. His big jab really pins you down due to its block stun, giving them time to really see and feel a Dragon Rush coming. So this should make it easier to tech, which is a good thing since they're going to be ready for it. The EX flash hits even harder here. He can even get full combos, whether it's from a vanish after his punch, EX flip again, or even meterless with beam into super dash for a full extension. What's great is that even if they do block, you can get plus frames for free or even grab them. They can't even jump out of it. It's crazy because some options cross up and some don't, so it covers a lot of options, even offensive ones besides just teching a DR. And because you disappear, you're also extremely safe against mashes and reversals. There are still some specific answers like 2Hing his punch, or grab, or fuzzy jumps, but since UI has so many options on top of just a regular Dragon Rush, this becomes very hard to deal with. Similarly, Hit's EX stance is an amazing DR Crush. It doesn't have a lockdown jab like UI, but still deals with a lot of offensive options while being able to cross up or stay same side. It can also deal with jumps and stuff and keep you safe by going through things. It does have a weakness though. If you take too long to cancel out and they do think it's a Dragon Rush, they can accidentally grab you out of it. But with his additional cancel options and being able to just cancel out of stance, his DR Crush is very strong. Now these two are in the Z tier because of how many options it covers while being safe. The rest don't accomplish as much, but starting off S tier we have base Vegeta. He has two surprisingly strong DR Crushes. For his rocket kick, you can 2H it, but you can't jump out of it. But his knee drop has the opposite problem where you can 2H it, but you can't jump out of that one. And since he disappears, he's safe from other mashes as well. It can be called out with reversals and stuff, but being able to switch sides without them knowing makes it very hard to deal with, landing him the #1 spot in S tier. Next up we have Super Saiyan Goku that has an EX that hits overhead as well. It covers mashes and jumps into full combos or supers. But here we start to see the decline in effectiveness. It's liable to 2H, although this is a very tight window and isn't safe from reversals either. But it is actually plus on block, which is very useful to extend your turn if they do end up blocking. Trunks is very similar, where it covers jumps and hits overhead. But his downside is that it's not plus on block. If they do manage to block it, your turn is done. Same thing with Krillin, although it's more vulnerable to 2H since it's not as fast and tight anymore. And he also has this option to stay on the ground by holding it that makes it safe from reversals, which is pretty damn strong. Android 17 is like Hit, where he can switch sides, go for an overhead or low options, and can activate his barrier to stay safe from things. However, it's still prone to mashes and even jump sometimes, and jump is a huge option that needs to be under control. Tien and Goku block end off this list because they cover as many options as everyone else while being an effective DR Crush. The next tier under covers less options, so as you've noticed, an effective DR Crush is one that can fake a Dragon Rush while still covering other common options, just in case they try to tech with something else or wiggle out of your pressure since there's other ways to escape Dragon Rushes. I'm not gonna go in as much detail for the rest, but we'll cover key points. So surprisingly, Kefla is down at A tier. How come? Now, she's an amazing example of a DR crush for also having green in it and the perfect delay timing for it, leading to a full combo on hit and plus moves on block. But what sucks about it is that it's vulnerable to even more options, like jump, and even reflect here that fully beats it. In the tier above, the reflect will just push them away, but here it leads to a full punish. So on top of not being safe, it actually doesn't cover that much or doesn't make it as versatile. Adult Gohan, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and Cooler are all overheads. Gohan's plus is that it can be super quick and can cross up. Gogeta's and Coolers leave you plus on block, but they all have the weaknesses against 2H and while not being as safe. Piccolo's, Base Goku, Blue Ku, Nappa, and Videl also don't cover jumps and other options. Now, don't get me wrong, these are still very strong, especially since some of them may dodge certain mashes or cross up and overwhelm your opponents that way during your pressure. So don't get discouraged because these will still work great alongside solid pressure. However, things start to get shaky in B tier where the options might get too fast or need assist, so additional resources. Starting off with a Vegito, he has a great 5L to keep them locked in and get their attention, along with an EX air grab that covers jumps in case they try it. It can beat and confirm DRs solo, but the downside is that it requires an assist to cover other options, like even if they just block, which means more resources. What's good is that it can lead to mix afterwards, but again, it's no longer a solo thing most of the time. It's the same with 16, 21, and Baby, where they need an assist to make this consistent or try to risk a solo confirm that wouldn't always work out. Although 16 has a weird extra blocks and thing with his grab, so that kind of makes it even shakier. Z Broly has an interesting situation where he can hold his special lariat for longer so that he can delay it to make it feel more like a DR and give them more time to react to it. And Zalmasu's is like a pressure reset thing, kind of like hit going to his EX stance and cancelling it right away. The grab tier is for characters that only have an EX command grab to use as their DR crush, which isn't as good since it's using a grab to fake a grab. But I talk more about this in detail in my DR crush video and how to use it. This last tier are for characters who don't have a DR crush since it's just too fast and doesn't give the opponent enough time to react. Remember, you want this to be slow enough so that they have time to react and think it's a Dragon Rush for them to counter, giving them enough time to engage in it, or else you don't really get any benefits. These either just true string or leave gaps too small to offer useful engagements, so there would be nothing to punish. And that concludes the list. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything and if you learned something new. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this one and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.